Hey there, food lovers. Ever wondered what secrets are hidden inside your favorite snacks or meals? We're about to embark on a culinary adventure, uncovering the hidden stories of the everyday foods we all enjoy. That apple on your counter? It's not just a fruit, that loaf of bread you're about to slice. It's a direct descendant of ancient grains, shaped by millennia of tradition. And that chocolate bar calling your name, well, let's just say it's come a long way from its ancient origins. From the humble apple to the sweet chocolate bar, let's dig into these delicious secrets. First up, the apple. A fruit that's synonymous with health. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? But did you know that apples have been around for thousands of years? The first cultivated apples date back to ancient Mesopotamia, and they were actually much smaller than the ones we eat today. Imagine biting into an apple the size of a cherry. Now picture those ancient farmers, carefully selecting the seeds from the tastiest, juiciest apples generation after generation. They were the original apple breeders, slowly but surely transforming those tiny fruits into the plump, delicious varieties we enjoy today. The apple tree we know today was created by humans through selective breeding over centuries. It's a testament to our ancestors' ingenuity and their deep connection to the food they grew. In medieval times, apples were often used in brewing cider. That's right, long before apple pie became a staple, our ancestors were fermenting these fruits into potent beverages. Now picture a medieval feast. Forget the sparkling cider we have today. Back then it was rough, strong stuff, often used to quench thirst and liven up those long, dark nights. So the next time you bite into a crisp, juicy apple, remember its long and winding journey. From those tiny fruits in ancient Mesopotamia to the cider mugs of medieval Europe, the apple has a story to tell. Next, let's talk about the potato. Another food we often take for granted. We all know it's the base of fries, mash, and chips, but did you know that potatoes were once considered dangerous? That's right, the potato, that starchy, versatile staple, had a rough start in the world. Imagine this. You're a European explorer in the 16th century, and you've just returned from the New World with this strange, knobby root vegetable. You try to convince people that it's edible, that it can be boiled, mashed, roasted, but they're skeptical. Why? Because the potato, my friends, belongs to the nightshade family. Now, the nightshade family is a bit of a mixed bag. On the one hand, you've got tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, all delicious and perfectly safe to eat. But on the other hand, you've got some seriously toxic plants like belladonna and henbane. And back in the day, people didn't really differentiate between the good and the bad. So when the Spanish first brought potatoes to Europe in the 16th century, people were convinced they were poisonous. But here's the thing about the potato, it's a survivor. It's hardy, adaptable, and incredibly nutritious. It wasn't until the 18th century that the potato finally got its moment in the sun. So the next time you enjoy a plate of fries or a creamy bowl of mashed potatoes, remember the potato's long and tumultuous journey. Chapter 3. From divine drink to sweet treat, the evolution of chocolate. Ah, chocolate, the ultimate treat. But the chocolate bar we know today didn't always look like this. In fact, its story begins not with a bar, but with a drink. The ancient Mayans were the first to create a chocolate drink, mixing cacao beans with spices, and they even believed it was a divine drink, reserved for the gods and the elite. Imagine a Mayan ceremony, the air thick with incense, the priests adorned in elaborate headdresses. They're gathered around a fire, carefully grinding roasted cacao beans, the aroma filling the air. This wasn't your average hot chocolate, folks. This was a sacred beverage believed to possess mystical properties. They would mix the ground cacao beans with water, chili peppers, and other spices, creating a bitter, frothy drink that was far from the sweet treat we know today. But for the Mayans, it was a symbol of luxury, power, and their connection to the divine. Fast forward to the 19th century, and the chocolate bar was born, thanks to people like Joseph Fry and the Cadbury brothers. They discovered how to mix chocolate with sugar and milk, creating a smooth, creamy concoction that was palatable to the masses. Suddenly, chocolate was no longer a drink reserved for the elite. So, the next time you unwrap a chocolate bar, take a moment to appreciate its long and fascinating journey. Chapter 4. Breaking Bread, a story of sharing and sustenance. Now, onto a food that's been around for millennia, bread. You might think of it as just a simple staple, but the history of bread is actually fascinating. Imagine our ancestors, those hunter-gatherers who roamed the earth in search of sustenance. They discovered that by grinding wild grains into flour and mixing it with water, they could create a simple dough. This dough, cooked over an open fire, became the earliest form of bread. Bread dates back over 14,000 years, and ancient Egyptians were the first to discover the process of fermentation, which led to the creation of leavened bread. Fermentation, the process of using yeast to make bread rise, transformed the texture and flavor of this ancient food. But here's a fun fact. Did you know that bread making was once so important that it was considered a sacred act? In ancient times, bakers were revered, and bread making was treated with serious respect. It was a craft shrouded in ritual and tradition, passed down through generations. Bakers were seen as alchemists, transforming simple ingredients into something magical. Bread making was an art form, a testament to human ingenuity and our deep connection to the earth. In ancient Egypt, people often ate flatbreads, which were more like modern pita or tortillas. These flatbreads, cooked on hot stones or in clay ovens, were a staple of the Egyptian diet. So, the next time you break off a piece of your loaf, you're participating in an ancient tradition. Bread has always been a food that brings people together, a symbol of community and shared sustenance. Chapter 5. Cracking the Code, the enduring appeal of the egg. Last but not least, let's talk about the egg. The egg, whether it's scrambled, fried, or boiled, has always been a breakfast staple. But have you ever wondered why eggs are so universally loved? What is it about this simple, oval-shaped food that has captivated cultures for centuries? Well, for starters, eggs were one of the first foods humans began domesticating. Long before we were herding cattle or raising chickens for their meat, we were collecting eggs. Early civilizations like the Egyptians and Romans used eggs not just for food, but for medicinal purposes. Imagine a Roman physician tending to his patients with a mixture of herbs, tinctures, and yes, even eggs. In fact, ancient Greeks believed that eggs were healing foods, believed to help with everything from digestion to energy levels. Today, eggs are still seen as a symbol of fertility and new life, often used in cultural rituals and traditions. And fun fact, did you know that eggs were once a symbol of wealth? In the Middle Ages, eggs were so precious that they were often given as gifts during important celebrations. But beyond their cultural significance, eggs are simply delicious and incredibly versatile. So the next time you crack an egg, remember its long and fascinating journey. So, there you have it. Our everyday foods are full of fascinating stories we rarely stop to think about. From apples to eggs, potatoes to bread, these common foods have played important roles in our culture, history, and even our survival. The next time you eat, just think about all the centuries of tradition and innovation that went into that simple meal. Every bite tells a story of human ingenuity, cultural exchange, and our enduring fascination with food. If you enjoyed these tasty tidbits, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's a food you'd like me to dive into next. See you in the next video.